Hello and welcome to the Social Recruiting Show. I'm Katrina, Collier, social recruiting trainer and a speaker. I'm, of course, whoa, where'd she go? Is she still there? She's still there. Possibly joined by my gorgeous co-host, Audra Knight, who has been running around after chickens. It's a whole other story. Employer branding genius, purple hair wearing, rock star, love her to bits. Today, super excited to get Clair Bush on the interviewee side rather than the interviewer side, aren't we? Founder of Ambush, thank you for joining us, my unleashed drinking partner.
Happy to be all sorts of drinking partners, but yeah, it was
this week.
a couple of days. This last couple of days have been quite tiring, but
on one's liver.
Yeah.
It looks like an amazing event.
It was good fun.
No, so thanks for having me on here, and it's brilliant to join you two as well, and kind of just have a nice old chinwag.
Absolutely.
So Claire, I always see you like at events and networking things, but I'm excited to hear more about what you're doing for your day job.
Yeah, day job.
And how you got there.
So the day job's kind of a little bit different. So people might have seen me as marketing director for a couple of businesses, so Broadbean, Bullhorn, the last couple of years. I've also turned my hand to the marketing jobs for a couple of recruitment agencies. I've been working on the job board side of things. So for the last sort of 10, 15 years, I've been in and around the space, really helping businesses define their marketing strategy. And last September, I had an opportunity to step up and out on my own. So, and it's been a really great leap, and I'm really excited. So Ambush was born in March. Ambush stands for Accelerated Marketing by me. And yeah,
that's not what I thought it meant. I thought I just had visions of Claire incoming, grabbing people, throwing them to the ground.
Always that too, but with usually pints of lager in my hand.
Yeah, always.
Always. But yeah, we kind of, I've been talking about it a while with friends and my network, and the premise is that there's so many organizations out there where marketing is either they're really nice to have or it's really business critical, but actually they can't really afford to have someone with tons of knowledge or tons of experience driving it, because there's that kind of massive depth between operational stuff and strategic stuff. So what I'm doing, which I really love doing, is mentoring, and also mentoring at a strategic level, but also helping operational marketeers kind of learn the ropes, get there quicker, and basically transform businesses faster than they would be able to do on their own.
That's fair. Sorry, we're not laughing at what you're saying.
You're kind of going purple squirrel. Okay.
No, it might be that I am Bush. I know it sounds bad, but coming from Mr. Levy, it had to be read out.
Thanks, Steve.
He makes our Fridays. So so where do you fit? Are you doing the employer branding side, the recruitment marketing side? Just general marketing? Where are you falling?
Everything. So I kind of carve it up into a piece where I suppose content branding, those sort of internal pieces, external pieces, demand generation is another area that I've worked on. My biggest part, I suppose, is that, and Audra mentioned it earlier on, events and experience. So taking a business out to market and not only just kind of giving them,
yeah, you're just like, when they land and they dig in your thigh as they land, it's like, oh, good. Sorry, Claire, very professional here.
No, it's so yeah, it is a bit of everything, I suppose. Whatever needs be.
Yeah. So what's your...
Now, do you get into companies that haven't done any marketing at all and like kind of started from scratch, or is it more like they're already doing it and you kind of...
It's a bit of both. I've got one client that I'm working on at the moment that's really helping me to refine my boundaries around what marketing is all about. So basically a concept of a product. It will be a SaaS-based talent tech brilliant piece of kit, but it's kind of conceptual at the moment. So working on a brand proposition for that, talking about the messaging, building the websites, taking all the collateral, building that tracks, all of that sort of stuff, without actually really seeing the product, which is kind of interesting, but yeah, doable.
Well, that's something we've never heard of yet.
Yeah,
right?
Coming to market, they're not even like at Series C yet. They're sort of wings. So yeah, early
so
New
they
Year.
weren't there earlier in the week. Then we didn't see them at Unleashed. Then
No, they weren't. They could well be there next year.
Oh, that's really cool.
So you're seeing what's happening in the forefront that we're not even aware of. That's cool.
And to be honest, those organisations that have kind of gone to market product first are the ones that I know that I can help a lot faster, because they've got a real clear identity and they've got a really good solution. It's usually that bit that's lost in translation, where you've got a decent bit of kit, but you don't quite know how to take it to market. And so you can have the best brand in the world, you can have the best product in the world, but if you don't know how to converse, then it's going to fall flat on its face. And you lovely ladies know about how that can be really kind of holding business back. Yeah. So yeah, that's where I'm sort of loving the space at the moment. I love the variety, and actually just helping people get over hurdles is really cool.
And what's the healthy mix between like getting content out there and like inbound marketing versus like having your salespeople like make relationships? I guess it probably depends on the product. Right?
Yeah, it does. And it's a lot about understanding where the business makeup is. And for me, that's like, who's the drivers, and not just the people with the biggest mouths, but also those that kind of really have the stories, I think, that are there. Just need to be unpicked and told. And quite often that's the devs and it's the product people, the people who understand the concept of this is what the idea was, wherever that came from, to the build, and then the solution that ends up being the thing that you push out the other end. And that's the kind of the juicy stuff. And I suppose as well, kind of going, kind of leapfrogging all of the stuff that everybody's doing in a business to go and talk to what their ideal customers are expecting, or if they're expecting anything at all. There's a lot of new tech coming out. We saw tons of really brilliant looking startups, but it's about actually understanding whether or not they're solving a solution, or are they creating a new category for themselves. And a lot of businesses think that just because they've got a great idea and they've got it to market in some way and they've got some investment, then obviously it's a brilliant thing. But actually, you go and ask somebody who's buying it or needing to buy it because they need to sell it, and they're like, no, we've got no need for this. This doesn't register as a problem. Yeah,
because there were only a few things that were really quite innovative last week. Is that bad?
No. I found a couple of really great organisations.
I keep saying last week. It was only this week. Sorry, a few days ago.
It feels like months ago.
It does. It feels like last week, but no, it was like yesterday, the day before.
It's that whole sort of retelling another solution. So, you guys have got Beamer and Clinch. I'll just put up there 2 great businesses telling the story in a very different way. Solving the problem in a different way. They're going to have different types of clients. They're going to have different people wanting to use their platforms in different ways. So recognizing that, and that's the strength in the brands that are going forward. And I think, you only have to look at Broadbean. So whereas at Broadbean, we were pretty much the biggest player. We had a brilliant brand. I got to play with it in a lot of different ways. But now you look at that marketplace and there's like maybe 6 or 7 decent providers, but again, they're all telling the story in a different way, and they're solving the client's problems in different ways, and by that they're stretching out the sort of user journey, if you like, and I think that's the bit that I find really interesting. Competition isn't just someone who knows exactly what you do now. Competition is that vertical and also horizontal kind of stretch of the process. So that's
So how did they work out how to tell their story then? I'm just thinking, like, for me, is not marketing.
Find out what the story is.
Where to start?
So for me, starting, and Audra kind of testify this whole sort of value proposition piece is probably the biggest and most important starting point for any marketer working with a business. Having a very clearly defined value proposition means that you can do anything with it.
Which is basically how you benefit the customer.
Yeah, exactly that. What's the point? Why are you here doing what you're doing? What problem are you solving? And how is it going to make someone else's life easier? And if you've got that nailed, And some organizations think they have, until then you go, why? And they go, what do you mean why? Well, why do you say that you're the best at what you do? Or why do you say that you're the market leader when you've not actually sold anything yet? And so what is Ambush's value proposition? I will ask.
Brilliant question, Lee. We love having your questions. We're so going to get you off that side and on this side so we can get you back. That's an awesome question. While you were saying that, I was thinking, God, I need to go and relook at my website.
Oh my God, now I'm stuck. All right, I'll ignore that one and come back to it in kind of management style. But yeah, kind of getting to the value proposition and then figuring out again who helps to define that. Yeah. Is it the people within the business? Is it the person who came up with the idea? Is it the stream of advisors that you've got that help you push the business along? Or is it even your client base as well? You know, are they helping to define what that is? And then figuring out the story. So how did you come up with it? Where did the inspiration come from? And once you've got that sort of traction of clients, what is their story? How are they using your solution or product to solve their problem?
Yeah, do a lot of people use that piece, like really push their clients out? Because I know a lot of vendors that don't, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's getting more and more prevalent in terms of business cases and case studies. I certainly push it because for me, a defined business case is someone who's actively using a product in a way that's solving a problem for them. And it might not be the original idea that you design the product to solve, but it's a really great story. And, you know,
it's believable, isn't it? With our BS meters going through the roof. And we,
that's what I don't like about white papers. For me, they just seem like made up crap.
But if you did it, if you did it as a video and you just had a chit chat, and it was really, then it's like really, because I was thinking of recommendations or testimonials where it says like Clair at Big Blue Chip said this, and you're like, yeah, right, whatever, because there's no realness.
It's the oldest form of verification, and I started out in direct marketing. What's this one?
Sorry. I don't know. Can we actually add an image here? No, I can't. I can't actually add the image. I took a screenshot of our show where he was holding a toilet roll up. It's on Facebook. Anyone wants to see it? Yes, that's our white paper from earlier.
I think those are just as valuable as actual white papers to me.
White papers, I don't know. Like my thing about white papers is that they've got to be academic, and by that I mean they should be fact-based and also kind of teaching somebody something. And if you're going to take the time to download a white paper and it's just a load of marketing BS, then that's not doing your brand any good whatsoever. And I think that if you are going to put a series of white papers down, then get somebody who knows what they're doing, that is academically able to prove their kind of worth. And don't, Joe in the cupboard who does a bit of cleaning and occasional social media stuff is not the person to be writing your white papers.
They could do your videos though.
And that's for Lee, who's asked me about my clients.
Yeah.
So a couple of my other clients I'm working on. So I've got my big top secret thing, but I've also got a couple of really good startups that I'm working on, and their return on investment piece for them and how they measure how valuable, I suppose, having a marketing director on tap is that I'm constantly attached to the business. I sit down with the directors every month. We go through kind of like 2-3 hours of brainstorming stuff. We kick a load of stuff about, and it's just like having this sort of chat, but it's at high level. It might be pie in the sky. It might be new ideas, stuff that I've seen, stuff that they've seen. How can that actually then be pulled back into the business to help them move forward? But I also once a week sit down with the marketing team, junior guys and girls who are working towards a 90-day plan that we've built together. So they're stretching themselves in terms of the skills and marketing experience that they're getting. They're at the coalface. They're doing everything operationally day to day. I'm asking questions and I'm giving them suggestions, and we go through the reports every month. They're just getting there a hell of a lot faster than they would be if they were just trying to do it on their own. I've got more t-shirts and then you can shake a stick at, as well as USB sticks and loads of other merchandise. So
from this week.
It feels like a couple of hundred of years after this week.
I'm worming my way through the chocolate. I'm doing quite well from this week's swag. Yeah, I'm like, there's that much left. I just started that today. That's I haven't hit the jelly beans. Yeah, no, God.
Well, they've already gone. They were gone.
I would have thought, in a strange way, that marketing is probably more essential now than it's ever been. In that, you know, I'm always going on about we live in this world of transparency and people will look stuff up before they get in contact.
Yeah.
Do you agree? Like, I'm not, obviously it's your business. I missed that, Audra. What was
just like reviews didn't exist back then, and now you know, everyone can tell through social media, everyone can tell their friends everything, and
yes.
So I think for that reason, you have to be part of that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's changed, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, God, I look back 20 years ago, and I just mentioned up there, I'm now sort of working with another client outside of the recruitment agency or recruitment industry world, and that's where I did my intern program 23 years ago, and I'm digitally transforming them. They're a teacher training business, and they're glorious and gorgeous. Like the CEO is the founder. She's been there 35 years, and I've gone back to work for them because of my time with them 23 years ago. But it's because Zoe, who's the CEO, told great stories, and she was possibly the most impactful boss I've ever had. But because I was there for 9 months and I learned a hell of a lot of stuff, the integrity about storytelling, the relationship between sales and marketing, the fact that actually the two are so co-joined that you can't and shouldn't separate them. And then I've spent 20 years of my career going in and working as the marketer that really understands sales until the last 10 years when I've been going, actually marketing comes before sales, during sales, after sales. So we're a bit more important than sales.
Poor sales. That's okay. We're mostly recruiters on the call. Yeah.
And it's true. You know, I stick my neck out a lot because I help support that end conversation. And that piece that is the close, the piece that is that relationship development up to a point and after a point. I don't need to be the person that the clients has a relationship with, but it's my content, it's the storytelling piece, it's the operational amplification that we give the sales team in order for that story to be resonating and then translate into business. So yeah, that's my take.
So
I like how you mentioned after, like, they buy the product, you could, we still have a place. Same thing with like maybe recruiters, after they make a hire, you throw them over to HR and you're done. Or do you want to then make them brand ambassadors, telling their stories outside? But you've got to keep that cycle going and not just stop at the purchase or hire. Yeah,
some of the enterprise sales businesses that I work with, that kind of client aftercare communication piece is absolutely vital. You know, if you look at any global business where they're kind of looking at EBITDA as their thing, and churn is a massive part of that client piece. And so working for organizations that are sort of enterprise level and then really focusing on the SMEs, which is what I'm doing now, I've got a real great kind of vision of actually you take care of the attraction piece, but you always make sure you're still talking to your client once they come on board. And if you don't, you'll lose them, and that's when the cycle kind of repeats itself again, and you're paying a ton of money more. It's kind of like just attraction for candidates. If you keep attracting the same candidates and don't look after them as soon as they apply, they're going to go and they're going to tell a ton of people not to apply with you. But,
okay, so going back to a conversation that Audra and I were having on Messenger last night, while I'm like, we have to go back. I didn't mean everybody, but I was doing the websites for the Noras. So you're going through them one by one, and I was having a
I did the prejudge.
Yeah, so I did the next bit at lastminute.com. Not one of the ones, but I was doing it at the last minute is what I meant. And that was really bad. But I started having a chat with the chatbot on some of the corporate sites. And what I was saying is there are no contact details for the corporate sites, whereas the recruitment agents that are recruiting recruiters actually give contact details. And then Audra would say, oh, but they can't. But okay, but it's so inhuman. And actually, I disagree. I think there could at least be a general, like one recruitment at email address or a something with, this is our team, email us if you don't hear. Not all candidates do either.
Yeah.
Because what you said is they won't come back.
Yeah.
So even though it's really unfair that so many recruiters have so many requirements, I do think you have to go back to people. Huh?
I like the idea for sure of like putting the face of the recruiter on the job rec, but I don't think it's completely realistic for some recruiters that have thousands and thousands of candidates that they're handling. And if hundreds of them start calling every day, it's just tricky.
But they could email, or they could send a message, or they could.
Well, they could have an engagement platform that helps them, you know, send many, that kind of thing. And I know a really great company.
Oh, is this the one that? It's got to be better than the chatbot I was chatting to, because I was joking with it. It's actually, I should really share the screenshots of me going, why is there only a male chef on your website? I don't understand the question. Can I speak to a human? I don't understand the question.
I'm reeling from my application for a German-based SAP role that hasn't ever come back to me. I don't know why. But yeah, the Noras are a great way of kind of figuring out some really bad stories that are being told.
Yeah.
And I just went through.
That's, I think, bad websites. My God, there's some really sexist websites out there.
When is when it announced? I think Stephen mentioned
14th November.
Yesterday.
Yeah. Week Wednesday. No, next Wednesday. Yeah, week Wednesday.
John Rose, I would say that you're the only recruiter that takes 100s of calls every day.
Does he?
He said, which recruiters do you know who take hundreds of calls every day?
Yeah. I've actually been in quite a few agencies in the last couple of weeks, and the phones just aren't ringing anymore, which is obvious. You know, it's kind of like this is a digital world that we live in. And I did a presentation probably even 2 or 3 years ago now, where it was all about actually the noise that we've got going on in day-to-day life, right? So, you know, I'm employed to help people communicate with their target audience, but their target audience is bombarded with messaging every second of the day.
Yeah.
And you're not being bombarded physically through your devices. You're also thinking about 300,000 other things all the time. So, you know, if you've got milk in, when will the curry arrive? Or, you know, I'm sure I called for that to be delivered and it hasn't yet. All of those things are happening. And then you suddenly go, oh, I know, I'll email that person about this job right now, because they're bound to stop and
everything they're doing
and reply to me.
Exactly, but and also you don't have to reply to somebody who chases up their application right then and there. You can go, do you know what? I'm going to set aside a half an hour every single day to go through and see who has asked me about something and reply to them. And I think you have to, because.
But if it's a phone call, you kind of have to drop everything you're doing. And
I wasn't saying put the phone number there. I was saying this is the team. Make it human. Here's a photo of our entire recruitment team. This is who we are, which I believe. Huh? I can't hear you today, Audra.
You do recommend. You do recommend that people call, don't you?
I'd love recruiters to call. I don't know what candidates are doing, but candidates shouldn't feel like they just send their application and it's in a black hole. Because you know what you're talking about is like, I know we're talking about recruitment tech, but if it was a company and they're hiring, you're sharing all of this stuff to attract applicants and then you're ignoring them. Then they go and bitch about you on Glassdoor, which is sort of where we ended up off on this tangent on. So, but they should have some way to contact you. Like this robot was telling me, go away. We don't give out contact numbers, go to social media. And it's like, I don't want to go to social media. Give me a generic email at least. Give me something. Give me a messenger that actually.
I think there's a generational thing going on, and I feel.
Audra, I think you need to move your mic in front of your mouth. It's just we can't hear you today.
Can you not either, Claire?
I just a little echo, but now I can hear you.
I'll talk closer.
Okay.
But I think most companies have a generic email. We definitely do. We respond to every email.
Not at what I was
most
looking
don't.
at.
Yeah, you need to make sure that they're obviously marked down on the, because you shortlist stuff, right? So it should be the good stuff. It should be the good stuff. And that shouldn't have made the filter. But I kind of agree, you know, the phone number basic rules, and maybe it's a generational thing, because you've got, you know, kind of those organizations, again, who are going out and saying, oh, we only want really the millennials, and they don't respond to normal contact details, they don't want to email, they don't want to talk to anybody, they just want to talk to chatbots. And so that's where the extreme of the communications start and stop. Whereas actually, you know, most organizations still have inbound phones, as far as I'm knowing. And, you know, most organizations now build desks with inbound outbound phone capabilities. So, you know what, why not? Why not have all of the ability to communicate there for someone to choose? And, you know, we kind of talk about stuff like employee value proposition. I just did a roundtable conversation, and loads of corporates around the room, and we were talking about how you can audit the stories that are resonating with your candidates and your clients, mainly candidates, and then bring those back in and reuse them as part of your EVP. And I had like a couple of kind of suggestions that actually they don't do it already. They don't go out and actually look at their Glassdoor profile, or they don't think that that's a really viable option. And you're like, why? These are stories that are just sitting there, and if you nurture them a little bit and even ask for them, the goodwill factor just goes through the roof.
And imagine if it's just somebody sharing the one that the Glassdoor review that came in and said, oh my gosh, look what someone just said about us, this is so nice. And it's just, particularly if it's on the interview side. I do find it funny how many companies just don't even look at their reviews. So
that seems crazy to me. I hadn't heard that. I feel like everyone's paranoid and stressed out about them and always look.
UK is like of the 25 people that were there last week, I'd say probably only about a third actually did anything with their Glassdoor profile. I think they all knew it was there, but the UK marketplace is really quite behind, I think.
But when I was going through those websites, I went into Irish Jobs and they have reviews. I was like, oh, there's another one. Just add it to the list. There are so many. And they're all full of reviews. Oh my God, did you? I told you about my Twitter thing with the saucer at Twitter complaining about a candidate ghosting her. And I put the screenshot of the ghosted recruiter for a recruitment admin role at Twitter. And all of these people liked it. Well, strangely, the post has been deleted. That's how they dealt with it. Instead of replying and saying, oh my goodness, thank you for bringing that to our attention, I should do something about this, they deleted the entire post. And we continue. Yeah. Anyway, we should get back on topic. Right. You had some ideas for how we can tell stories. So we can attract more candidates that we can ignore when they
So I've got kind of like 3 things. My sort of building blocks really around building your EVP via storytelling. So the first part is building a platform in which those stories can be captured. And by that I mean create the processes internally and externally that you can kind of pull them back into your marketing team, your content team, your line managers, whoever it is, even you just bring them in, find a way to funnel those in. And then I suppose once you've got them, having them in a number of different formats always helps, but get them in the most authentic way. So I'm working with another client as well where I've just turned around and said to them, do this, do the crowdcasting. You don't even need to broadcast it. Just set up a video camera online with someone else. They can use their phone and just record it and just have a quick chat and then put it up onto your website. And if it's a 2-minute chat, that's great. If it's a 10-minute chat, even better. And if it's really decent content, get the transcript. Put the transcript up on YouTube as well as the video, and then go from there. And
strip out the audio and make it on an iPod, which is what I've been saying we'll do for this show for like the last 2.5 years.
But yeah, there's so many different ways now of capturing content, and it doesn't need to take days and hours. And the white paper, kind of like 3-month research and $10,000 down. You don't need to pay that now. It literally can be done in minutes, and it's much more authentic and it actually believable. But yeah, I kind of feel like this is probably the best thing to do right now, is to just find that really good way of bringing stuff in. When you're retelling stories as well, I think it's always really important to retell it from the original storyteller's perspective. So I have an absolute wealth of stories that I've captured over my years of experience. Majority of them are stories about ridiculous things that happen whilst I'm on business trips. But yeah, they don't actually ever really involve.
Oh, are they some for my book Speaker Tales when I write it?
But you know, that's tell by experience is really important. But so getting your perspective right from another person's perspective is always good. And then just basically telling the story to the end, I think is a really important piece as well. And,
what do you mean by that?
Well, kind of getting cut off in between. Being able to finish the story, whether that's 2 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, especially when you're talking about presentations, or if you're delivering a presentation to an audience, you need to make sure you've got that structure right. So your beginning, middle, your end, your 3-point takeaways, whatever you build into your presentation framework, make sure you tell the story to the end, and that you qualify that someone's taking something away with them.
So how do you start to work that out then? So I'm like, never put a presentation together. I've been asked to give a 20-minute presentation. I really want to say that recruiters shouldn't ghost. That's the ultimate thing I want to say. How am I structuring?
Well, that's great because you've got an objective.
Sorry?
I said, that's great because you've already got an objective.
Yeah.
So what's your end goal? What do you want to really leave the audience taking away with them? Start with it and end with it. Always great, because the first 30 seconds are the most important. The last 30 seconds are also important. The bit in the middle has to be that story mountain. I learnt loads from my kid this summer, because I was really cruel. I made him do summer school so that he wouldn't crash out of his exams that are coming up in January. But he took me through how he builds stories, and he's got this really cool story mountain thing, and it is literally going up and coming down. It's in 5 parts, and when you're at the summit, you've got the most absolutely amazing point, but you're building up. You've got your bit at the top, and then you take people back down again safely. No fall down. So yeah, it's kind of like it's just a really great method of even writing blogs or just kind of having this objective. Not having a rambling conversation, which I'm having right now. But
we're doing really well, to be fair, after however many nights of not much sleep. No, but so I suppose, is that like where I'm trying to think if I do mine right now. So I'll tend to go, okay, we're really negative in recruitment because of blah, 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 blah. That's why people think we're crap. And then I go, here's the solution. Is that the kind of idea? So you've got everyone thinking, oh my God, we're the worst. How do we solve it? And then solve it? Is it?
Yeah, so it's basically standing at the bottom of the mountain, pointing up to the direction of where you're going to take someone.
Yeah.
And take them up in lessons. So you're taking them up in stages, get to the top, and then basically reveal the solution. And that's what you've actually, kind of the ha-ha moment, or the kind of, this is what will happen if you put this sort of thing in place. And then you take them back down. And, this is how you can implement this, and this is how and then you walk away and go to the bar, and that's like a great story.
I think too many people miss though the short bit at the end. I see so many speakers, they finish and they're like, okay, well that's it. And I'm like, oh. But even with stories, like you have to have something catchy.
So how do we finish? How do you finish, Audra?
Well, it just really depends on the topic, but I'll throw something like kind of crazy or just something really memorable out at the very end. That's what I do, but just something so that you don't like fall flat and just like die. I don't know. You need something. What do you think, Claire?
I always end with the takeaway summarized as well. So my stage is down when I'm presenting. I kind of go, right, so this is and I give them either key takeaways to go all the way through, or I kind of go, and the most important things are that you've got to remember these 3 things. And then once I've had that up for a second or two, I turn it off and I put my contact details up. And I do this no matter where I work. So whether, I'm freelancing or not, I would do it because it encourages Q&A, and it encourages people to connect with you. And if they don't feel like they can ask a question in an open forum, At least then they can connect with you in a field where they feel like they can come and talk to you. So it's, again, this sort of being able to deliver your contact details in a way that someone can come back to you and ask those questions. You know, you can kind of see the most inspirational people on stage, but if they run off and don't give you a chance to connect with them, then they're losing out, because there's a whole range of people who haven't got the confidence, don't want to ask their question in a public domain. And I kind of feel like that, you know, that might have been the most inspiring and brilliant thing that I've heard all day.
Yeah.
But if you've not given me a way to connect with you, other than introducing yourself at the beginning, then forget it. And also as well, I always find this really difficult to deal with. People who spend 5 minutes of their 20-minute presentation talking about who they are is wrong. Like, forget it. Nobody cares. You're on the bill because you've got a story to tell. Tell the story, then tell people who you are. You know, and the thing is, you will get verification of why you're the storyteller on the delivery of your story. Give your story more time.
I do like jumping right into something, or jumping right into a problem, getting their attention, and then a quick little, you know, this is who I am. Or do you think
Audra got me doing that? Because I watched one of yours, and you start straight away with a question the second you get on the stage. So I started doing that, getting them a little jaw dropped and go, okay, I'm Katrina, and this is why I'm speaking, and these are my clients who are telling me this. And by the way, this is my accent to get you off that topic, and off I go. Like, I try to make it really quick, but more to verify I'm hearing this from other people, so this is why I'm telling it. But it's like after I've already started. It's probably 5 minutes.
So you don't do that at all, Claire? No introduction at all?
I start with the introduction to the problem, or the title, or the topic that I'm going to talk about. And I kind of drop into that, my experience, so that it's obvious that I'm talking from a point of knowledge and experience, but I don't verify that, you know, I am who I am and my jobs and this is my CV and all that sort of stuff.
Oh yeah, I don't.
What about some fun stuff? Like, I always tell like a fun, silly stuff, you know, but more personally about what you think that's silly.
Slide up that literally had all of the brands that I've ever worked at, and it's so big, it's bigger than anybody else's. You know, these are the new logos that we've acquired this month. It's so big that I just kind of got lost in it. I was like, well, why am I doing it? I'm doing it because I want confidence to be on stage, and it's not because my audience needs to know what my pedigree is. It's more about the topic. You know, people. I've been told by someone who'd heard me speak, and she's like, "You don't validate that you know your stuff because you're not letting people know who you work with." But I think that comes at the end. I think that comes at the point where they've heard the story. They've taken the takeaways that they've got from it. They've got the juicy bits of the content. And that's when the how to make the most of the new knowledge that they've got. How can I do that? Well, I need to connect with you as a presenter. And you obviously know your stuff. So that's how I want to build that relationship with you. And also from a business development perspective, if you think about how demos are run or how new business is won, it's never about the salesperson standing up there and going, oh, my name's John and I've been here for, 6 years and I've sold all this different product stuff and, I've understood this industry because I used to be a recruiter and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. It's not that.
No.
And presenting on stage is a very similar, you're selling content, you're selling information. And it just
works. No, I don't do it like that, but I know what you mean. Steve Levy's being smartass. I do it in British accent. I more do it to say, this is what I'm hearing from you. Like, not, oh, this is who I've worked with. This is what my clients are telling me. Yeah, this is how they're feeling. They're feeling what you're feeling. This is why I'm telling you. It's like, it's that quick. I don't stand and go, I've sold to all these. Yeah. No, I hear what you're saying. And then I do the quirky thing like Audra does.
Yeah, I do it for that reason. I tell I feel silly things about my kids or something, just short, just to be memorable. So they're like, oh, that's Audra that also has crazy kids or plays hockey, but just something short so they can remember me, but nothing to do with kind of my authority. But I see your point too. That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I
think about that part.
I suppose I have my favorite presentations. I think that's the other thing as well is when you build your decks out and you actually start talking about stuff that you really love. And there's that passion that gets delivered there and that sort of authenticity that comes out of it as well. I'm one of the most nervous speakers that I know, and I get really red in the neck here. So I wear
do.
But it's the stuff that I love is the freewheeling, and like you say, bringing in I talk about my husband quite a lot because he's quite ridiculous, but he gives me quite a lot of inspiration for the stories that I tell about branding, because he works for a brilliant company. He's been there 23 years. He's the only person I know that's been in the same company since he left uni, and he's got tons of experience that is brand involved, and I think that it's brilliant to draw on stuff that and again drop in the fact that he's kind of a bit nuts and has very strange buying decisions, but I laugh at it a lot.
I think that's fun, a little bit of that, but then get to the
interesting. Lee's written here, practice your presentations. Actually, I don't think it mashes. I think
for me.
Yes, it's definitely worth running through them so no slides pop up and surprise you, which happens with me quite regularly. But I don't think that impacts the nerves. I think that will come in time. It really does come down to breathing. What I was saying, I mean, to poor Adam Gordon, he should have won that. But in his pitch, which was such an intimidating, I would have hated to be up on that stage. It was so intimidating. But it was just breathing, the difference between fear and excitement. And he was just literally stopped. I was willing him to take a breath. So, and he had practiced it because he absolutely nailed it the day before.
Yeah. I think
I do that. It's hard to breathe, I feel like.
I think knowing the subject matter as much as you can possibly know it.
Yeah.
And I practice by just talking to myself all the time. And that first 30 seconds is the hardest. And that's the bit that I repeat and repeat and repeat.
Yeah.
Because that's what I always feel like if I fluff that, then I'm going to have a really shit time. But if I get that nailed and I feel really confident after that first 30 seconds, or the question I'm going to pose, or I take a breath and look around and, kind of make eye contact and find a load of people that are staring at me, or sleepers, or, I'm just talking about. I did a presentation last year, the year before, at Recruitment Agency Expo, and 3 rows in, there's a guy who hadn't moved, and now I control the program. Everybody has to get out of the hall and move around because they were just people asleep in presentations, which I feel is the most difficult situation.
I can say for sure that Steve Levy would have walked up to them and woken them up because he doesn't like staying on the stage. But it's funny because we were talking about, I think it's practice to a point. So I have also, and Audra knows what I'm talking about, seen a, what was he say, blonde presenter who's so polished, it's uncomfortable to listen to because it's not real. And she's trying so hard and then she gets off her set spiel that she has in her head and loses it. Like, I think practice to a point where you know where your slides are coming, you get those first 30 seconds, those last 30 seconds, and the bit in between, it doesn't matter whether you know what I mean? Go off a bit. So you're real. It doesn't.
I think it becomes shouty as well when it's so rehearsed. And it is, and like Debbie says, it's kind of like it becomes an infomercial. It's not authentic. It doesn't feel real. It feels like somebody else has even created the sort of transcript that you're reading from. And without the sort of natural, oh God, where am I kind of moments, you don't feel like you've got that connection with the presenter.
The Beatles practice, but it's practicing to a point, and it's not music. It's not a song that everyone's going to sing along with. It's a presentation where it's different. Like people don't know what you're going to say, so if you fluff it a bit, it's okay. But if it's so rehearsed that you then get really stressed because you've lost your thread in those however many pages of transcript that you've learned. So exactly, Joe. Have a conversation.
Yeah,
definitely. And it is really, I mean, that's hard as well. So when you've got those where you're like asking the question and you're kind of getting people involved. I did, I was really hungover, and I shouldn't say this because it's not very professional, but I was really hungover and I was in the Netherlands and I was running a sort of conference program, 10 minutes. And I got in and I was talking about employee branding as well. And I was talking about mobile phones. And then there was this video. And of course, I'd embedded it into my presentation. But when I'd handed it across, it hadn't come through. So I was like, oh, for God's sake, right, everybody get the mobile phones out. And in that instance, I could have lost the audience completely. But brilliantly, they all did get their phones. They went to the link, and it was really quite an easy link. I'd put it up, the link up on the slide. And they all then sat there and watched this 30-second video. And brilliantly, they all put their phones away again and kind of came back to the presentation. And that, I was like, Jesus, if I'd rehearsed that, there could have been complete catastrophe. I would have, I could have lost everybody in the room. And
the trick for that, though, is to move.
Yeah.
But to a point, because I washed myself back and gone, you've got to stop. I'm now making myself stop because I walk too much. But if you move, people can't be in their phone because they're like, oh, where'd Claire go? And they get all. So that's one thing. I find speakers that stand in the spot do my head in.
Yeah, me too. But it's tricky because sometimes people on the phone, they're tweeting awesome stuff you're saying, or are they talking to their friends because they're bored? Like, it's hard to know if it's a good thing or a bad thing.
Around, ruin their photos.
Yeah, there is that. What else is nightmare stories? I think. Oh, were you with me? I don't know if you were. So Stephen did the RecX show in the summer. I'd just come back from work.
I wasn't.
We had a circular rug on the stage.
Yeah,
we had this circular rug, and Bill Bullman was presenting, and he was doing this sort of shadows walk. And as he kept going round, the carpet kept going further and further closer to the end, to the point where I was sitting on the front row, and I'm like, he's gonna just die. He's gonna fall off. And so he wasn't attached to a mic or anything. I was just sort of like wandering around, like I said, doing these shadows walk. So, kind of, I suppose moving around is one thing, keeping your energy up is another thing. But no, and Bill would say that he knew exactly where the edge of the thing is, but it just kept coming forward. And by the end, Stephen had to kind of run in and do that sort of grab the carpet back.
But it doesn't matter that he knew that, the audience was. So I had my mistake, because I've not used this venue before, but the way the cable was with my stage, one of my speakers that knocked, my Mac actually went flying with the cable. Thankfully, my Mac was fine. So we got that back up. And then the very next speaker stood right on the edge of the stage, like right on the edge with mega high heels. So they were already freaked out from my Mac falling. Then she's standing on the edge, and I was like behind her like this, which they could see. I was like ready to catch her, trying to relax them. I've got it. It's okay. We're okay. So you actually have to think, even though you know where the edge is, does the audience know you know that almost?
Yeah.
So much going on.
They're just distracted. They're not hearing what you're saying. You don't want them to be distracted by the drone.
That was it. It was really difficult to focus on what was being said, because we were all kind of like, oh my god, so we had a moment there, and Jo was there actually, so she could see that there was there could well be an issue. But yeah, I think even just stopping and kind of going, right, this is not working for you guys, is it? And having that ability to stop in your tracks. I think you can't do that if you're too well rehearsed. I don't think you can be agile in your presentation if you're you kind of basic. I don't know, maybe it's a nerves thing as well. I like to know what my slides are going to say. I don't put on my slides on purpose, because I don't like reading from them, and I tend to read from them if they are like really bulletproof. But then I also kind of want to make sure that I know that I've got something else to say.
I think I do, because I often have examples of bad, either recruiter outreach or reviews or something like that in my slides. But I have learnt to use the animations or the animations so I can get them big. But it's all about how I read them out. So I read them out and then add something in the middle, or I make sure that my voice is indicating what tone I'm trying to get to. I don't just read it in a monotone. And I think that's really important. But no bullets except the summary at the end, which is like 1, 2, 3. Go away and do that. But I know what you mean. And I have to send that. Sorry.
No, you were finished.
I was just saying I have to send so many Disrupt HR slides back. I'm like, no, we don't need to see that 47% of recruiters suck at something. Just 47%, and then fill it in by saying it. You got 5 minutes.
That's
I always panic that my slides will get stuck, because then I feel like I would just lose. Because I just need the slides as a little guidance. Do you guys find that, or is it just me?
No, completely.
Totally understand that. But how would your slides get stuck? Has that ever happened?
Well, like if it just stopped working, or you know, they wouldn't advance and it does something broke, and they were like, just go on and do it without the slides. I'd be like,
no, I couldn't.
I'm out of here.
Yeah, I
don't think I could.
I had a room in Manchester about, I think it was last year. I was either coming out Bullhorn or I just started on my own, but I had 6 minutes where the presenter had come off before me and I'd gone on, but as I went on and I went to press, the whole of the electrics went. So there
you go.
And it was like my first 30 seconds, but I was like, I only remember the run for the first 30 seconds. And I was like, how is this? I'm not got my laptop. I've got no thing. The engineer just disappeared out the room. There's like 7 people.
He ran to the toilet.
And I'm like,
see, this is why I need to write this book. It's like you don't expect stuff like that. You don't expect an MC to not introduce you properly. You don't expect all of these things like to be commented on just what you're wearing. And I've learned so much in 6 years of speaking. It's seriously funny. The stuff you hear, the stuff people say to you, and the way things that happen, you cannot possibly prepare for all of it. You can't.
It's definitely building. But then again, you know, there's the stories for you as well. So you pull on the stuff that you know has worked or hasn't worked for you to tell the next story.
But I think with what Joanne Lockwood's saying here, it's like establishing the plot and the dialogue. But I think because Audra and mine are so like demonstrating how to do something, it's a little bit more different to us telling a story of, you know, employer branding and how you started and how you walk through it. And it's not like that. We really are going, right, we want to use video in employer branding. This is how you do it. So we would really be screwed. I probably would have just sat down and said, okay, well, how can I help?
Yeah, it was good fun. And I'm not sure that I'd want to repeat it any time ever again.
Quite funny. Sorry, I've just got distracted by the thing. Sorry.
Okay.
It does distract. It's funny watching the show.
But I think one thing we're really nice. There's also really different types of talks. I've read some awesome blog about it, but I forget. But there's like the inspirational high level talk. Then there's like, I do more like tactical. Here's some stuff. Oh, hi.
Hi, this is my son.
Hello, son.
Hello. Come on in. Is he playing football?
Yeah.
I hear you do great stories. I've heard about the curve.
Yeah, can you tell us one?
Leave me to. Okay. See you later.
He's like, thanks, Mum.
Yeah, I should get one of those signs saying recording on air. This is totally
Oh my God, I'm getting you one of those. That's the best. I want one of those.
You put it in front of the dog and then they would totally ignore it as well.
We couldn't hear him at all, by the way, but apparently it's he's an awesome dude and where's my dinner, Mum? And does he have a LinkedIn profile yet?
No.
No.
He did walk in last night, so I was sitting here working on a Rec Agency Expo presented pieces, and I've got obviously music playing, and I'm like sort of rocking out a little bit, and he was like, "Mum, what are you listening to? That is like the most savage music I have ever heard."
Was it 80s pop?
So yeah, I was kind of like, well, this is Def Leppard, babe. This is what I used to listen to. Now, you know, you can listen to it too. That's
really cute. We're running out of time. It's gone so fast. Next week we have the awesome Joanne Lockwood, who's in the comments channel right now, coming right in the centre. We are. I'm quite very excited about that. Plus, I got to meet her this week as well. So that's going to be very cool. So very excited, same time next week. Except for those of you in the US, will have to tune in at 11 a.m. East Coast time because the UK's clocks are changing, but the US clocks change the next week. I mean, we wouldn't want to get it together and coordinate on this, would we? So 11 a.m. Don't forget, it's an hour later for the US.
Claire, what's your website for people to check you out?
It's am-bush.co.uk. And yeah, just come and have a look.
I still have these visuals of you just jumping on people.
Just ambushing people. Yeah.
We're going to go and look for your stories.
What's the next event that you're speaking at or attending?
Sorry?
Do you have anything lined up?
Yeah.
What's the next event that you're...
I'm presenting at the UK Recruiter show for Louise.
Joanne is as well.
Which is where Joanne is. I'm also going to be at the Norris, so I'll see Katrina there. She's coming to the party. And
I'm coming in the day as well.
Oh, cool. So I'll see you.
Today's the best bit.
So lots of content, lots of brilliant things. And
sorry, Stephen, if you just heard that, by the way. Oops, I didn't mean it like that, but it is.
We're having a live band and booze. It's going to be a fun night.
You know what?
I just wish that the people there would take it slightly more serious when we're trying to hand the awards out, because the judges have spent so much time going through that it's a bit of a shame, because they're just not very respectful of other people while they're trying to get the awards out, which I just find frustrating.
It got better last year, actually. I thought last year was a lot better on the level of commitment, I think, from the audience. I'd have them silent. There would be silence. Yeah.
Because especially, it took me hours yesterday to go through that, and I was just like, wow. And you would have spent hours as well. So you think, come on. Yeah. And plus the websites that are good are really, really stand out. The ones I gave 5 to were like, wow. Yeah.
So the winners already know, because aren't they invited to attend?
Yeah, no.
They don't know. Attend.
The shortlisted ones do.
Yeah, the shortlisted ones are always really, really heavily invited, because obviously they're shortlisted for a reason. But the quality, I think, the quality's gone up. I've been judging it for a number of years now. I'm working with Stephen and all the other judges. And last year I went to the pre-judge piece and did, I think, 120 odd small recruitment agency sites. This year I did the large recruitment agency sites.
Yeah.
And there's about 70 of those. And yeah, the quality is definitely coming through now, which is great. Because
now you've got to get really picky. It's like, oh, who's only sharing content for men, say, or who isn't actually offering any content, or you get like really, really picky into the when I go to apply, it does something stupid, just to separate them, because they're really good. I don't
make my short list at all. Anything that's not
mobile.
Mobile is not a list anymore. So
no value content.
That kind of comes off. But yeah, the natural sifting, you've got to be a lot more picky.
Yeah.
Sure.
I was looking for that transparency piece. It's cool fun.
Yeah.
I'll happily send you the list of the finalists. Maybe I'm not allowed to do that. Audra, I will. But just to give you an idea. So, is anyone in Berlin for Social Recruiting Days? No. I must go back. It's a really good event. Maybe aim for next year.
Yeah. Hope me out for next year. I want to go to Berlin.
Yeah, it's good. Really good city.
We should have a girls' party in Berlin.
Having experienced some of our party this week, God help us. Right, my liver just groaned. I just felt it. Right. Thank you so much for joining on this side, because you're often the interviewer, not the interviewee, aren't you? So
yes, definitely. Cool. I'm going to be starting again for Rec Agency Expo next. I think I launched the program 5th of November. So yeah, we'll start off with the Rec Agency Showcase spotlights for the presenters there. So I'm working on that. What else am I doing? Oh, True London, 26th of November. Just so you know.
I usually find out about it like after the event. I never seem to know about it before, so thank you for that. So it's really, really cool. So thank you again. We shall chat soon, and I shall see you all. Remember, an hour later for the US, same time for the Britain next week. Have a great weekend, everybody. Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye, everyone. Thank you.